In this video, we'll demonstrate the filter feature in Excel. The filter feature works both whether your data is a range, which it currently is right now. Notice when I select in the data, I don't have a table ribbon, and it works exactly the same if the data is a table. If it's not a table, on the data ribbon, here is a filter button, and that will turn on or off the filter buttons next to each column heading. On the home ribbon, you also have a filter button, so you can turn on or off the filter button. For this demonstration, just for the heck of it, I'm going to turn it into a table. So I'll select the data, my table has headers, hit OK. Now we have a table. When you create a table, when you first create it, it will have the filter buttons on, but you can turn them off. It doesn't change the fact that it's still a table. So just recognize a filter button is just a toggle that you can turn on or off. So what does a filter button do for you? So let's say, for instance, I only want to see the employees from Dallas. I don't need, remember, I have 538 rows of information here. Let's just say I want to see the Dallas office. So there's only a few offices here. So I will click select all, which unselects everything, and then just select Dallas. I'll hit OK. And now I'm only seeing the information for the Dallas office. You can filter on more than one column at a time. Notice our filter button has a little funnel on it that tells me that I'm filtered here. And now I may want to see a particular department in Dallas. So again, I will select all and we'll just choose the accounting department, hit OK. And now I'm down to the Dallas accounting department. Notice your row numbers turn blue. That's also an indicator that your information is filtered. When you have filtered information, let's say I want this to be copied to another sheet, you can select that information and Control C for copy, and notice the green marching ants around every individual record. It's only copying the things that are visible. I can open up a new sheet and then go Control Paste, and now I've copied only the Dallas Accounting Department information. If you want to clear a filter, so let me hit escape on the keyboard, that gets rid of the marching ants. A couple ways of doing that. One, you can clear a filter from each individual column by hitting this button and then right here, clear filter from department. Or if you just want to get rid of all the filters across all your data, you can, under the data ribbon is where I do it. Here is the clear, and this will clear the filter across all your columns. And I assume we have that same thing here. Yeah, it would be right here if we had something filtered. If you only have a few elements in a list, it's completely appropriate to just select the things you want to see. Like I want to see Chicago and Dallas, hit OK, or I'll clear the filter. But let's say I want to see all people whose last name begins with W. Rather than unselect all, scrolling through here and now going click, 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 trying to click on every W, there's another way of doing it. Actually, a couple of ways. One, notice we have a search window right here. So if I type W, it gets rid of everybody. If I go WA, now it's everybody with the WA in their name. If I go, so you can see the list right here. If I hit OK, but if I wanted to start with W, I can use wildcard characters. And so the wildcard character is a star. So I'm saying it has to begin with WA, and then I don't care what happens after the A. It can be anything. It can be an L, an N, an R, a T. It doesn't matter. If I want WA anywhere in the name, I can put a star on both sides. And so now Howard pops back up, or this one pops up, McGowan pops up, because I'm saying I don't care what's to the left of the WA, I don't care what's to the right of it, but I just want WA. So you can get a little more sophisticated with your search filters right here. Another one, I'm going to hit cancel on this. Same idea. You have your search, you could use wildcard characters, but you also have this thing, text filters. And right here it says equals, does not equal, begins with contains. So basically the example we did where WA with a star on each side, that was a contains. Does not contain, or you can do a custom filter. So if you just want to say begins with, and then WA, we'll hit OK. And now we're seeing the same the people with the last name starting with WA. So those examples were all dealing with columns that have text in them. Let's run to a column with date. So under higher date, you click on this, and now notice it says date filters, whereas the column with text says text filters. Automatically, Excel's smart enough to recognize that. And what do we have for date filters? Well, first of all, if you just want to see a particular year, you could just go like that, and it'll give you that year. But I'm going to select them all. You have this thing that says, hey, equals, before, after, between. Tomorrow, today, yesterday. You have a lot of choices around your dates. If you decide you wanted it to be between, I'll click between, is after or equal to, you can actually choose a calendar. You don't have to type the date. And so then you could choose some date from several years ago, whatever, you get the idea. And then before or equal to, and then you could choose today's date. And we're probably going to get nothing on this, but whatever. Oh, we actually do get a few. So that would be the date. Again, you can clear the filter. If the column has numeric values, you're going to have number filters. So if I'm saying, hey, show me everybody whose salary is greater than 100,000, I could then say greater than or greater than equal to, and you literally just type 100,000, hit OK. And now we've filtered everybody whose salary is greater than 100. Now be careful. I have had a few students, I'm going to clear this filter. When I say, show me everybody whose salary is greater than 100,000, they'll run through here and they'll sit there and try to unselect everybody in this list, which is of course ridiculous. There's a better way of doing it. So as I mentioned before, if there's only a few elements here, yeah, you may want to just turn on or off something. But in this case, when we have 500 some records, it would be crazy to sit there and unselect that stuff. So plan on using something like this to number filters, whether they're greater than or equal to, and then type the value. Another type of filter that's a little bit similar to our sorting. On personal days, remember I had some cells that have a green fill. If I click over here on the filter, I can actually filter by color, and it's going, well, do you want to filter by the cell color or the font color? So it happens that the cells that are green also have a green font, so it doesn't really matter. But if I click on that, and now I'm only seeing the data with the green fill. I'll now clear all of my filters. One thing I forgot to mention when I was doing a search with the wildcard characters, I talked about the star being, if I were to go star, WA, star, I want I don't care what's to the left of WA, I don't care what's to the right, just WA has to be someplace in between it. There is another wildcard character that's positional. So for instance, if I go, I want a W, I don't care what's in the second position, but I want the third position to be an N, and then I don't care what's after that. So this is, again, really specific. So in this case, I'm returning a WAN and a WIN, and then, of course, what's after the N doesn't matter because I have a star. So the question mark is a positional. It has to be in the second position as a wildcard versus this could be anything after the N, whether it's 1 character or 10 characters, it doesn't matter. And the last thing we'll talk about with filtering is that notion under table design of the total row. We talked about this when we created table. At the very bottom, I have a total row, and just for fun on the base salary, we're going to sum the base salary. So it's $33,011,400. Filters can change or will change that answer on the total row. And that's the reason that's the subtotal function rather than the sum function. So again, I want to add up the base salary for the Boston. We'll just do the Boston accounting department. So there's Boston, here is accounting, and now notice it's 975,700. If I wanted to count how many people, I could just, over in any column basically, just run over here and say, yeah, give me a count. So there's 15 people, there's our salary in the Boston accounting department. Just as quickly, I could switch this out to being the Chicago, and there's the 22 people for a little higher salary. Let's say I switch departments. The point is these functions in the total row reflect the answer of your filtered data. That's why you have a subtotal function versus using the sum function. The sum function would display the answer across all of the range, whether the cells are visible or not. Subtotal will only show the answer to those things that are visible. So that's why you're getting a different answer every time we filter. Which of course can be very handy given that I can now select all that data, control copy, run over to a new sheet and hit control paste, and that formula is now being replaced by just the number. But let's say your boss is asking for some really quick information. I'll hit escape over here, such as the Chicago IT department base salary. You can filter the table, copy the information, put it on a new sheet, and print it out for them. So basically, that is it. Everything you needed to know about filtering your data.